Hello, everyone, and welcome to the May release for Fieldcode. We've got a few quality of life updates to Fieldcode, some really good stuff that's come out, and I'm kind of excited to show you it all. First up, you may already see it on your screen, or you should already see it on your screen. We have the new version available prompt. This comes up, and some of you may have seen this when the release actually happened, that if you were actively using Fieldcode when the release happened, it warns you that there's a new version of our application that's been deployed and asks you to refresh so that you're using the latest version. Because if you decide to use a portion of field code that was part of that release, it could cause some conflict between the old way it was running, which is how your browser is treating it, versus the new way that it's running, which is how our backend is treating it. So it's important that you reload and get the latest version or work with the latest version as you continue on. If you're in the middle of something, of course, you can dismiss, finish up what you're in the middle of, and then go ahead and reload. But we do recommend that you reload as quickly as possible so you get the latest version of field code on your browser and working properly. For our enterprise users, you have an option for some of your dispatch groups called auto dispatch, and it can be toggled on and off. If it's toggled on, we now have added this two gear icon here. And if you click on that, it'll actually pull up the auto dispatch settings here within Workplace. And there's been a change both here in Workplace for you to be able to see this, but also on the admin panel, we've added a couple of additional parameters. And one of those is the date of optimizations. So this will allow you to decide what the optimization interval will be. So for example, you can say, hey, I just want to do with today plus one, just tomorrow. The system default is for tomorrow and the following day, so the next 2 work days. And then you can also set custom dates for up to a week at a time. And those dates will always be based on today as being sort of the default date. So today would be 0, and then tomorrow would be 1, and so forth. So if I select this, then I select the dates I want to go ahead and select for the next day, and then go, say, for example, to the 11th. This is available here for people with the right permissions, and it's also available within the admin panel. As well, within our ticket pool here, we've also added as a new column option. So previously, the short description was only available within the ticket details, but it's now available here within these options, and you can sort by that in order to pull up tickets in whatever order you see fit. It'll save you a little bit of time when you're trying to figure out what's this ticket about. You can simply read the short description and then decide from there which engineer you want to assign it to, or so forth. Speaking of the ticket details, within ticket details, we have this group, this section called dispatch groups, and this tells you where the ticket is assigned to. And normally this is calculated by the geographic location of the ticket, and then what other filters a particular dispatch group might have. So the Berlin team here, for example, may have a filter right that specifically excludes the project content. And in that case, this ticket actually would not be assigned to the Berlin team, even though it's in Berlin. So in this case, it is assigned to the Berlin team. But let's say for whatever reason, I want to change this ticket's dispatch group, or the dispatch groups I want to assign it from. I can now actually do that manually. So it doesn't have to actually be in that physical location. And this little pen icon or pencil icon over on the right-hand side, if I click on that, we'll get a little pop-up menu. It'll show us the team that's already assigned to, and then we can choose which team we want. Let's go ahead and assign this to America. I know that doesn't make sense, but just play along. We hit save, and in a moment, this ticket will disappear from here. And if we actually go under the America team, then it shows up there now. Now, if I need to reset this for any reason, I don't have to come back over here and re-edit it, although I could. I can simply hit the refresh button over here, revert dispatch group assignment to automatic system assignment. And if we select that, then it will refresh for us. You'll also see that refresh symbol, by the way. If the ticket does not have a defined dispatch group, you can use that to say, hey, check again. I've updated some information on the ticket, perhaps its location, and do that again. But you'll see that option there. Also, if the ticket is not assigned to any particular dispatch group. We have also a new field that's available for forms. And I think a good example of this is a cloning form, because when I'm working with my team, sometimes we will clone tickets to be able to reuse them and so forth. And what I need my team to do is I need them to remember to update the C&E, the case number external, and the LSDT, the due date for the ticket. And before I did not have a way to actually actively remind them, but this new static text field allows me to add text directly into it. And what I really love about this is that it does allow me to choose a color for this. So in this case, I chose danger, so it shows up as red. And it's nice and big and bold there to let people know, hey, make sure to update the C&E and the LSDT. That's been added onto there. So this can be used in any form. I've, in this case, used it on the cloning form, but you can use this on any form. It's a great way to remind your team of certain things that need to be filled in, or just to kind of clue them in on what your expectations are for the upcoming fields within that. This can also be applied to reporting forms, but it does appear a little bit differently um, in the FMA. If I go ahead and pull up my phone here, this is what it looks like within the FMA. It simply says static text above it because it's a static text field. That lets the engineer know, hey, you're not expected to change anything here. This is just information for you. And it says, add any additional photos to the file section. And that's because when they're filling out this section here, they have before and after photos that they can add. Maybe they have 3 or 4 other photos that they want to add additionally. In that case, they would back out and they would go to our files section here, and then they could add files or photos directly here instead. So I'm reminding them that they still have that option, that they're not stuck just with with those options there, the before and after photos that I've added to this particular report form. So that's another way that you can use that static text field. I find it's really useful for just making sure people understand what they're supposed to be adding to things and just guide them along the way. Another thing for our enterprise level users. Oh, I don't have one in here. Let me go ahead and come to here and open field code in demo SwiftTech, which is my demo environment. So if you're working with custom objects within field code, then you'll have the X pool right here. And there you have your different objects that you can select from. And in my case, I have customers and devices, and I can then select either of those. And you can, of course, add records. We have the ability to add records here. But if you didn't realize before, you can also download those records into an Excel file. So a little kebab icon here, we can open this up and you can then download those records. Previously, there was a limitation of 1,000 records that you could download at a time. We have raised that limit, and that's the big news here. We've raised that limit now to 5,000 records. So you can conduct your query, narrow down the records that you want, and then you can download those records up to 5,000 at a time to make sure that you get everything that you're intending to download. We do have something new, and it's kind of cool. It's the AILLM action. I'll say that one more time. We have new AILLM action, and this allows you to connect field code to a large language model in order to have that model do some tasks for you. In this particular case, I've told the model to go ahead and translate a ticket to German for me, and we have everything set up over here. And now I can also test this directly from here. I'll go ahead and open that up. And I'm going to choose ticket 5 or 252, I think is the one I wanted to use. And give it a quick moment to load. And so the prompt said to translate the ticket description, which we have here, into German. So right now, this is what we wanted to translate. So translate this. And if we scroll down, we can see what its response is. And here it's done a fine job of translating that ticket description from English to German for me. So title becomes Titel, Beschreibung is your description, and so forth. So those of you who are familiar with German, you'll already be able to understand this. But just understand, from my level of expertise in German, this is a very fine translation. It's worked out very well. We do recommend that if you set up these AILLM actions, try saying that 5 times fast, that you test it a few times, check to make sure it's operating the way you intend. Just like you would do with any kind of change that you're making in field code, make sure that the change is actually enacting the way that you intended to. We have also added onto our outgoing mappings the ability to see when it was last edited and who was the last person to edit that action or that mapping. Previously, this wasn't available, and it was kind of a thorn in people's side because they wanted to know, hey, who was responsible for the last changes to this, either to pat them on the back or to say, hey, what were you doing? Now we have that available to you directly here. You can see when it was last updated, in this case, the 26th of January, 2026, by support@fieldcode.com. We've also improved the outgoing mapping warnings. So with these outgoing mapping warnings, previously it gave you a rather generic message, not something you could really work with. And now it's letting me know here, for example, that certain event listeners weren't found. And now I actually have something I can work with to try and identify what's the problem and how do I fix that. We've also added the ability to add attachments into document templates. And I've got a document template here. I've not completely adjusted it yet. But one of the ideas that we had with this, for example, is if you wanted to add photos that have been attached, those before and after photos that you saw in my report, if I want to be able to attach those, I can now create a section on my template, in this case, photos, and I've labeled it before and after. And I'll need to add in the appropriate code in here for that to target the before photo and the after photo and add them in so they can be attached to reports. This is something I'll be working with my solution engineers on to get this finished up. So I don't have the actual code in here. And we'll be improving the online manual as well to explain better how to set up a document template and what some of this coding means, how you can add it in. And of course, always reach out to support@fieldcode.com if you ever feel lost with any portion of Fieldcode. We don't want you scrambling or feeling lost in the sauce when it comes to Fieldcode. We know that some of this stuff is instinctive for some people and other people need some help along the way, and we're here to help you out. Another thing that we've changed is with the dynamic list values. Previously, dynamic lists were automatically being sorted alphabetically depending on which column you chose. So if I wanted to show the model name column, then this would have automatically gone in alphabetical order, which would be then Apple, Asus, and so forth. I would be Apple, Asus, because Apple's mentioned here more than once. And while that may be good for most cases, it wasn't good for every case, and we wanted to give our users a little bit more control over the order in which these things will appear. So now, based on the first column, your primary key column, that will determine the order of the displayed results. So you can adjust your first column then to reflect the order in which you want everything else shown, and it will show in that order instead. When it comes to custom fields, for example, then things will still appear in whatever order that you put them in. And for other fields, they'll be in alphabetical order instead. But for your dynamic list, you have some control now as you create that list to make sure that that is in the order that you intend it to be. And finally, we have one more thing, and I will need to go ahead and show this because I don't have this set up within my environment. And that is that we can now create objects from interface. Previously, we were only able to update them, but now we can actually create items via interface, so object creation via interface. In this case, it's showing that the current shipping will be added. So we are actually creating the shipping rather than just updating the existing shipping for that particular ticket. If you have any questions about what you've seen today, or if you'd like to learn more about what Fieldcode can do, please feel free to reach out to support@fieldcode.com. Or if you'd like to sign up for a demo, if you're seeing this as a recording later on, you can go to our website to fieldcode.com and sign up for a demo. I'll show you how to do that real quick. So go to fieldcode.com. You can select your language and then select on Get a Demo, and it will show you our availability over the next couple weeks for hosting a demo for you. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or any concerns regarding these new features, and our team will be very happy to help you out in getting you set up with anything that you're having trouble with. I hope you all have a wonderful day.